So good day, friends. Good day. Today's story is about fear, or how to deal with a life when everything around you is pretended that it's there to scare you, that is there to upset you, not fully realizing what was the intention of all this fear, that you get diluted, that you get diverted into the place where you still not see how little chance that you have. So if we untwist the twisted attitude of present media, political, excluding Trump, financial, economical state of your mind, do you see that you could live a bit happier if you're not afraid so much? So title: Uncertainty breeds fear, so to be certain, you know how to find an enemy that is very real. Well, if you think background of the medical profession, what they do, they sell you fear. Insurance companies, they sell you fear that you eventually get injured, ill, dead, misplaced, without job, and so on. Yet nobody is actually openly stating that this is all fabrications. This is an imaginary, some kind of potential that you will breed into existence by being afraid, by buying an insurance company, by having a chemo for the disease that they just told you that you supposedly have. And question behind all this, like why they do this, why they were so devious, because they want to hide your real enemy. Let's say in the medical system, virus is not a problematic for a human body when it's aware, when it's healthy, because viruses gets placed on our path all around, infested in the food, in the air, in the water. Viruses, parasites, heavy metals, and so on. Yet when your body becomes spiritually weak, then these viruses can trigger the disease. So how come the body becomes spiritually weak? You becoming afraid of anything and everything. You are actually teaching and reprogramming or programming your children and your peers around, let's say in your environment where you work or where you live. You programming them continuously with the fearful thoughts, with the fearful intentions. Many children get really hit with a car by pre-programmed notion of the mother telling them, when you cross the road, watch, you don't want to be hit with a car. And then the body of the child is kind of gullible and naive and just like hears in all the excitement with life, he just hears hit by the car. And it does. So who's in fault? Well, mother, her environment, her ill state, psychological, emotional, spiritual, and physical. Men go to war. Father tell the son, watch, don't get killed. Again, the remedies of the message from the father to the son is get killed. Our body is a very perceptive yet quite, let's say, dumb or dumbed down. that we don't hear the full sentences. And we don't know why, let's say, our ancestors, parents, people around, are there to really do what? Why they are so keen for us to get run by the car or to get killed. Because we never thought what is behind, who's actually and what kind of creature is doing all this, or it was doing, because it's not here anymore, but the remedies of the old like wheel still rolling, but much slower now. Yet we're still going to doctors to get something, or maybe early death, or slow death with a lot of medications, and very expensive death with a lot of treatments. They are enormously expensive, and only the ones with insurance who are afraid all their life they were buying insurance and paying for the insurance. So case for let's say, America. Now, insurance companies are the ones, the Obama stupid care that was in the place. I mean, it still is, yet Trump made many executive orders to kind of deviate this into the right path. So we don't trust these insurance companies explicitly as we did for like many decades, not realizing that we have been stolen. So insuring yourself against illness, you're actually bringing and breeding illness within you. Insurance agent comes to a place. What he brings? He brings doubt. He brings uncertainty. News media, this fake mainstream media, what they bring into your living room every freaking day. They're bringing fear, doubt, and uncertainty. Trump is going to be impeached. But if you ask as a very sane person, so a couple of presidents before they've been impeached, they still remain, and they did tremendously worse things than Trump would ever even think. So what's the problem? Problem is your attitude towards fear, because you almost have a program inside of you that you have to continuously be afraid, cautious, uncertain, doubtful, not to trust anybody, especially not to trust yourself. Because when you don't trust yourself, you're really fucked. You're fucked to the point that nothing can unfuck you except you. When you start seeing it, man, they're talking about impeachment for 3 years. I'm using Trump as an example. And really nothing happened bad to you as a viewer or as a receiver of this, except if you get too carried away and you go with the woke movement with like, impeach Trump, a coup movement, remove Trump from the office. Who the fuck these creatures think they are if they can dictate you? I mean, you chose Trump. US citizens chose Trump. So what are these freaks doing? Confirming their very ill intent that Trump has to be gone, left from the office, killed, decapitated, and so on. Yet all of this, if you just put it as, like a fly goes around and you just smack it and there's like a smudge on the wall, you wipe this smudge. This is the information they're giving you. Like you still see the wall is behind is very solid, very firm. Meaning that you cannot be smudged so easily if you don't allow. Yet many. And I'm saying it was a common ground of human existence on this planet, that we allowing fear, doubts, and uncertainty to penetrate in our energetic field. And it's like a fissure that it goes in, and every time that you hear something, Trump impeachment is on its final leg, it'll happen tomorrow. And just your fissure goes wider, your doubt goes deeper. And in this kind of fissure, the dark energetic creatures, they were actually cooking all this, besides spirit cooking and the rest of the magical, dark magical cooking, they've cooked a poison that will penetrate through the sphere into your physical body. Your energetic body is supposed to be a barrier or some kind of blockade for parasites, viruses, energetic attacks to go on your physical body, because your physical body is the prime real estate on this planet. So through these cracks, fissures, openings into your energetic body, you become very vulnerable. You live very miserable life. You get hit by the car. You get poisoned in the hospitals. Governments gives you, let's say, social help, yet you can only buy McDonald's based on the size of the social help, but not even telling you that by buying a McDonald's and you eating McDonald's, you are supporting a cannibalism. You become one that is actually even decreasing more of your strength and, let's say, secure energetic field around you. Eating meat of the animals. They are very mistreated in their, let's say, growth, and they were mistreated with the process of killing. So you end up pretty much screwed again. So the question was very, let's say, simple. Yet to me it's quite difficult and complicated to explain. Yeah, fear could be an enemy. Uncertainty could be your real enemy, but it's not. It is just maybe a surface level of many hidden levels behind of a way how you're going to be attacked and with what. So unwind yourself completely out of this daily existence. Think that you're settled, you are in peace, and start really contemplating on, not meditating, but contemplating on who the real enemy is behind all of these tactics. Fear-mongering on the TV, war-mongering, through the political schemes of the countries. Medical fear-mongering through the false diagnosis. Financial, global financial, let's say, markets are going up or down. Like you become very certain that you don't care, is it going to, Dow Jones will be like over 30,000 or zero, because it will not affect you. Yet, if you get involved emotionally, you are totally screwed, because any fluctuations of markets will cause, let's say, energetic disbalance in your body. Your glands become way too active. So finding a real enemy in all this scheme of that we called life, human life on this planet, was quite devious, because nobody paid attention in very, simple detail why we have been scared by others and why we are allowing to scare ourselves so often and so much. Just think every possible aspect of your life. It's based on uncertainty. How are you going to pay your bill next month? Are you going to have a job? next year? Why? Doesn't matter. Your employer appreciates the blondes than the brown or the males or anything. All this brings uncertainty, and uncertainty feeds the fear. And fear creates almost like a safe passage for every frigging parasite and virus and the form of attacks that can really, really hurt you. So again, now we figure this out. We don't want this. Yet we cannot fight it because it's all over. It's everywhere around us. You open your eyes, you see the first news, the war, Third World War is coming. Well, in truth, Third World War is already raging for almost 7,000 years. And nobody told you. So why? Why are they just kind of pretentiously scaring you and not telling you full truth? Because they are now become terrified of you realizing that this fear was their only weapon. The doubt was their only tool that can put you down. Being uncertain, are you a male or are you a female? Now we have like myriads in the between or above or below of the so-called species or genders. I don't even know where they're going with this, yet matter not, because if you're certain that you are male, nobody can, or respectfully female, nobody can question you. But if you have a deviously ill teachers who are teaching your children to, you can be this, you can be that, you can choose actually what you want to be, not even respecting creation made us. So why we would even challenge it? Except we have a very stupid and ignorant creatures, like these transgender teachers or propagators of lies. Just simple behind this reasoning is to confuse and to put a child into doubt. Because when a child is in doubt, they are very open to trauma. When they're open to trauma, they're open to split personalities. When they have split personalities, they can actually chip every single moment with another fear layer, another chunk of your spirit. And on and on. This is going on continuous basis. It's going in multidimensional spaces until we really bring everything to this one single fucking organic timeline where there's no more allowance to split in any kind of this illusionary and ill-intended timelines. Because we're hanging on, some of us, on millions of timelines. Some of us are fighting actually there, and many of you were just being a little slice of the spirit, performing the same old injury, same old job, same old fear, on and on and on, and producing what? Producing the substance of your emotional stress. And this substance was the food for the real enemy that I'm talking about. And I'm talking for many years about them. Nobody really, until this point, nobody, besides Denise and I, is open to state that we are not alone. There are aliens on this planet. But not they are coming, or they will attack us, or they will rage intergalactic war. Frigging war is going for millennia. Aliens are on the planet before we came, before we have been, let's say, created as a humans species. Then we actually had divulged into another species, which is like humanoid, DNA controlled robot or a clone. So all based on technology of fear. When you watch Trump, do you see any fear in him? When you watch a beautiful Melania, do you see any fear or doubt in her? She's so firm, she's so strong in all her gentleness and beauty. Trump is so almost aggressively and openly diminishing your real enemies. They were in your face and you're watching them for decades, staring in the stupid TVs, listening every word that CNN and the others say, believing that this is the only truth. How many of you try to search? I mean, at this moment, not to diminish many of the patriots who actually, spiritual patriots who are waking up and they start looking for the real news. And they start disseminating this real news, no matter what kind of fear has been thrown on their path. Demonetizations, demonetizations, let's say, of the YouTube channels, or they lose their job if they're wearing a MAGA hat. Okay. But there's a solution. Let's say you live in America. You can find a company and the owners, they actually support Trump. So if you think that one door is there to be just closed and demolish you, then you will very much be dead. I mean, you're already dead if you continue like this. But if you know that one door closed, another much bigger door opens. So for you only have to do, without fear, step over the threshold. Yet why we don't want to live in light? Not your fault. Absolutely not. I saw many thousands of people coming for healing, and the only real thing that they are afraid of, not dying. They can live in pain, they pop the medications, they drag them into the wheelchair, they walk out of our place on their foot, carrying a wheelchair under the arm. And they're still afraid of light. So I ask you, why? Because it was programmed into the human DNA. Programmed. Deep embedded ancestry program. That when light comes to you, you will treat it as the worst enemy. And this was to me the biggest and the most advanced trick. A very dirty trick that people will not be able to reach, let's say, spiritual adulthood, ever. You would remain in perpetual slavery, recycle incarnations and reincarnations. I mean, reincarnations are stopped because Prime Creator shut it off in 2005, yet nobody talks about this. Nobody actually can prove that these things are still very, very possible, because all of, or most of the people living, most of the humans living on this planet are terrified of pure light. And this is not a blame game in any sense. This is my hand to you to, let's say, get better. Meaning, not to be afraid ever again. And one of the good spots where you can start is creationlightship.com. Another one, onyourownbank.com. Just for the beginning, just for the, let's say, an opening, a conversation with whoever want to talk. how many fears, if you want to be truthful to yourself, you had until this moment, until you heard me talking about it. And I don't care, is it going to be, this year, next year, not further on to 2022. So if you don't hear me before the time, that's too bad. For you mostly, or for whatever left of you, because the rest will be absolutely wiped out. Because light has no judgment. Light cannot talk with the darkness. We are really a transition workers or warriors of transition period. Trump, Assange, .com, Kim.com, Snowden, and so on. We are here to show you that you can actually face every superficial, fearful situations that you have been suddenly exposed. Doesn't matter. Illness, financial difficulties, political uncertainty, war, physical and mental damages. You can overcome them by absolutely trusting that there is something bigger that is actually guarding us in every decision we make. But we have to be the one making these decisions for our own benefit.
Let's give them a helicopter ride, okay? Right? Good.